Hi. Okay, so I know it's been a few months, or more if you're in the future. Whoa. Wait, we have fucking flying cars yet, you weirdo? But you guys remember the Drake and Kendrick beef, right? This was monumental. I honestly feel so lucky to have been active on Twitter during this, which is a sentence I never thought I'd say, because holy, it was a fucking crazy, 2 months. Now, obviously, in the hearts and minds of the people, Kendrick has cemented himself as the winner, as the king, while Drake has been on a downward spiral ever since. Walk one Delilah, no, I'm late. But if you weren't there in the beginning, if you weren't there in the early days, the beef, you'd forget that Kendrick wasn't always on top. No, Drake was on his ass for weeks. No pause. I'm a Kendrick fan, so I was impatiently waiting for Kendrick to fire back, wondering if he would ever fire back. Kendrick was taking his sweet time, and Drake, as well as Drake's stans, were not letting him sit in peace. And I started getting worried, maybe Kendrick just won't fire back. Maybe he thinks he made a mistake calling Drake out, or maybe he thinks he said his piece and go retreat back into his valley of silence. But one day, there was a murmuring across Twitter. A rumor broke that Kendrick's new diss had leaked. Only one issue. People were saying it was AI. I listened to it and it didn't sound like AI, it sounded real. Sure, it sounded a bit rough, but it didn't sound fake. It sounded like it could have plausibly been, what's that? It was AI, and the guy who made it made a TikTok explaining exactly how he did it. Interesting. Now, this wasn't the first time AI rapping had been introduced to the public, even in this beef itself. Drake dropped tailor-made freestyle right after Push-Ups, and that included AI rapping of Tupac and Snoop Dogg for some reason. Drake, you know that guy's alive, right? I know he's not a part of FaZe Clan anymore, but that doesn't mean he's dead. Fuck! And nor was it the last time. Metro Boomin sampled an AI song on the BBL Drizzy beat. Now, I'm pretty sure he didn't know it was AI when he made it, but I was still kind of upset that so much AI art had been hoisted into the mainstream. Luckily, though, those songs fell to the wayside, and we know how this story ends. Kendrick drops Euphoria and 616 in LA back-to-back, murders Drake with Meet the Grams, and does multiple backflips on his grave with Not Like Us, including the pop-out show and the music video. I think I said black flips. Whoa, black flips. But that's not the end of my story, because in the beginning of August, JPEG Mafia dropped my favorite album of his, I Lay Down My Life For You. I loved it from first listen, and there are so many songs in there I'm adding to my playlists, including one of the more gentle and soulful songs off the album called On or Off the Drugs. It has a genuine and emotional performance from Peggy, putting aside his dangerous persona and loud, aggressive raps for a more chill and mellow vibe, supported by this wonderful sample. It's just beautiful. So let's see what renowned YouTube channel Turning the Tables has to say about this song.
That was absolutely fantastic. Do me a favor. You got your phone right there. Pull up. Turn Up the Lights, 1973. Wait, hold on. You know what? This samples an AI-generated 70s blues song titled Turn on the Lights. Don't tell me I was ready to cry to AI.
Okay, so that's some bullshit. I mean, sure, the other songs I mentioned are AI too, but they all kind of suck a bit. This song is a man laying his soul bare, wrestling with past relationships and hoping his kids don't end up as weak as he is. Oh my god. This is a great song, and it's got an AI sample? I usually hate AI out of principle, but well, wait, if I gave BBL Drizzy a pass, does this song get one too? I mean, both of these songs aren't defined by the AI they're made from. They're creating something new and different. But does that matter? Is there any ethical way to incorporate AI art into your own art? Now, you must have seen me doing air quotes anytime I mention AI art, and that's because I don't believe it's real art. Let's take a gander at the dictionary definition of what art is, shall we? The expression or application of creative human skill and imagination, typically in a visual form such as painting or sculpture, producing works to be appreciated primarily for their beauty or emotional power. Now, this is an intentionally kind of vague definition because everyone has a different view of what art is to them. Art isn't really one to follow many rules, but one of them is kind of set in stone. Look at that, it says it right there, human. No matter how hard they try or how creepy they start to look, robots can never be human and therefore can never create art. They could be a part of the artistic process, like a camera taking a photograph, or they can be the art exhibit itself, like this sweet little existential nightmare, but they cannot do the creation. The scary part about that, though, is there is nothing that really differentiates AI art from real art, at least looks-wise or sound-wise. I mean, sure, there are some habits and quirks AI art still has, but those are currently being ironed out, and unless you squint and really peer into the abyss, they kind of look interchangeable. As an example of this, the Pokemon Company held a Pokemon card art contest for 5,000 real American dollars. And when it posted their top 300 entries, many people noticed that a lot of them were AI generated. Now, the Pokemon Company realized their mistake and disqualified all those pieces from the contest, but sometimes we aren't so lucky. The band Pink Floyd held a full animation contest with an 100,000 pound cash prize, and guess what won? A shitty AI animation that looks like shit and sounds like shit and is shit. They had a whole panel of judges that have been in the animation industry and should, keyword should, be able to identify talent and skill, but apparently fucking not. So obviously, that's awful and makes me deeply enraged and upset. Someone won off of plagiarized art, because that's how these AI work. They steal from other artists and blend it into some colorful mush. And AI bros have a defense for this. Oh, really nothing's original because every artist steals. It's called taking inspiration. To that I say, fuck you, idiot. Humans don't just steal in their art. It's a reflection of their lived experiences, of their opinions and beliefs, of what they wish to see in the world. Robot don't have that. Robot's a fucking thief. Like really, submitting this kind of art into contests is like making a shitty collage of a bunch of art that you didn't make and trying to pass it off as your own. But even worse, you hired someone else to do it because you couldn't even get off your ass and find the art that you like to steal from. But even worse, you didn't even hire a fucking person, you hired a bot. So yes, I'd say all of this is unethical, pretty plain and simple. But this is visual art. What started this journey for me was music. So let's start with something I've already mentioned in this video, Kendrick's AI diss. And hey, I'm gonna mention some names here and all throughout the video. Don't go and shit talk these people, all right? They don't deserve harassment. If you're gonna harass anyone, harass the big tech companies that make this shit possible. This song was made by Cy the Rapper _ on TikTok, and he created a lovely little guide to show us how he did it.
Yo, Cy the Rapper here, and this is how I created the viral AI Kendrick Lamar diss track. Now, first you gotta get a beat that sound like chaos and the world is ending. So this is a beat that I cooked up.
Now, it cuts off here, so maybe you just assumed or hallucinated this, but I'm pretty sure one of the reasons you make the beat sound so fucked up is to hide how fucked up the voice sounds. Even in the song, you can hear it. It sounds dirty and maybe artifacted.
Utter my name 3 times in front of your mirror. You hesitate to proceed after you reconsider.
You know, that quality could be a rough mix, which is what I dismissed it as and what they hope you think it is, instead of AI garbage. Anyways, that's a side thing. Continuing.
You gotta write some lyrics and spit them the way that K-Dot would write them and spit them. I know Kendrick Lamar likes to emphasize his T's. Putty. He can T. Hey, dot. Putty. See that hard T off.
Now, what pisses me off here is this guy's obviously talented. He can rap, produce, and even mimic the styles of other artists. Because let's be clear, this isn't the first AI work he's made. He's also made a Kanye one and maybe others, I don't know. I'm not gonna check because it makes me depressed to actively look for AI art. But the important thing is he's got something for sure. He's made his own music. So why do the AI thing at all? But in this video, what Cy doesn't explain is what program he uses to make his voice sound like Kendrick's. However, he does name drop it in an interview he does with Complex. It's called Jammable, and it makes money off of you being able to steal other people's voices to put into songs. This isn't even plagiarism at this point. This is ripping out somebody's vocal cords and putting them on a copy machine. Unsurprisingly, Jammable has been threatened with lawsuits and is possibly in some because they, get this, steal from voice artists and musicians and stuff. So yeah, another point for this is for sure unethical. But then what about completely AI generated songs without the use of someone else's voice? Well, looking at the people who created BBL Drizzy and Turn on the Lights, which is the song that JPEG sampled, they don't have any interviews detailing the process they use to create the songs or what programs they use or anything. I tried reaching out to both of them and only one of them responded, but then I told them that I'd be negative of AI work and then they ghosted me. So since they're not gonna help me out, I went and Googled how to make it myself and found an AI called Suno.ai, as well as a handy guide on how to use it. For Suno.ai to function, you have to send it a Discord message, of fucking course. Then you can have literally all of the work done for you, from the music to the genre to the voice and the lyrics. And how does the final result sound? Well, you tell me.
But deep down inside, a secret it holds. I just find so much fun with your algorithm.
Okay, it sounds bad. It sounds really bad. And even though this was uploaded 10 months ago, judging from this Reddit thread from 4 months ago, I don't think it's improved that much. But I suppose this can be a proof of concept. This is how easy it could be to make AI music. Ugh. So I think in order to see how ethical it truly is, I should see how it works and how it gets made. Now, I have done some research, but I am stupid, so I might have misinterpreted something or straight up got something wrong, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. And if I get anything wrong, please let me know in the comments, and I'll try and either pin that comment or write everything in my own description or pin comment or whatever. But from the couple of things I've read, this is how all this stuff works. I'm in a different place wearing different clothes. Why is that? You don't need to know. Shut the fuck up. For music, generative AI works generally in two ways. It can either take from a bunch of stuff you feed it and learn how to play a MIDI instrument called MIDI generation, or it can perform witchcraft and learn how to make music out of white noise called audio waveform generation. The first one's pretty self-explanatory. You take an AI, you feed it a bunch of music until it can play all of that and more on MIDI instruments, the type of instruments you find on GarageBand, you can play with your keyboard or whatever, and it sounds like this.
Smooth.
This way is less energy intensive, but you are more restricted by the plugins and MIDI instruments that your pet robot has access to. So what you can go for instead is audio waveform generation. It's the same setup as the MIDI one. You take your AI and you feed it a bunch of music, and then it takes a block of just white noise and takes away noise until it sounds like what you want it to sound like. It's similar to AI generation. They work in the same way. One's just auditory and one's visual. By the way, all this information came from an article that Christopher Landscoot, sorry if I mispronounced your name, it's on the screen right now. He basically just goes further in depth on diffusion and how AI makes music, way more in depth than I do. So go check out his article, it's very good. But that's how all this stuff works. AI takes from human producers to learn how to do all this stuff themselves. And from what I gather, the changing of your voice, like what was done on the AI Kendrick diss track, is using audio waveform generation. It takes from what you said and adds or subtracts noise until it sounds like the voice you want it to sound like. Now, you'd think I would slam this as well for stealing like I did with the visual AI stuff. After all, it must use previously created works to understand what it's trying to mimic. And I am. A lot of AI companies, whether sneakily or not, are in fact stealing people's voices to inform their own AI systems, which, as we've established, is not good. But there are companies who do try to market themselves as morally clean, such as Kits.ai or Lemonade.ai. Kits focuses on AI voices. They have a large library of voices, whether fictional characters or real-life people, that you can slap onto your songs and make a silly thing with. Hi, okay, so I'm finally editing this after like a month or two. And so something's gone wrong. When I was filming this, Kits.ai had an easily accessible and readily available suite of AI voices to use. And they could be any voice. Maybe like it was SpongeBob or it was fucking Steve Carell, probably. Now all their voices are like nondescript husks, like male gospel pop or female indie alternative, which made me think that they just took down all of that AI voice work because they don't have the rights to have any of those voices and therefore can't have them up as a product to sell, right? But then I look up Kits.ai SpongeBob, right? And I click this link and it says it's premium. It says it's a premium model and I have to sign in to continue. My whole point originally was that Kits was advertising itself as a ethical AI voice model thing, because all of the voices that were on the website without consent couldn't be used in commercial products. They could only be used for non-profit use. My issue with that being there's no way to police that. If you give people the tools to do something, they'll do it even if you say, hey, please don't use it in this specific way. They still can and will. But now they don't readily offer those on their website, and I have two theories as of why. One, they are hiding them, like this suggests. They're premium models now, and you have to pay to be able to even see them. Because it's bad. It's a bad, unethical thing to do, to have people's voices on your website without consent. And so if you're only showing them to people who are paying you money, there's probably less of a chance that you get caught for it. Or two, this is just some sort of mix-up, and they've taken those voices off of their website completely because they realized that, oh, this is unethical, or maybe they got sued. I don't know, or threatened to get sued. But, you know, whatever. That's what happens when you take a month to edit something that's like 20 fucking minutes. My bad. I'm just lazy. Bye. Well, maybe Lemonade is better, right? It specializes in production and uses that MIDI generation that I talked about earlier. But its training data was taken with consent from all the producers, and to top it all off, it doesn't make full songs, just little melodies to give any producer some sort of inspiration. And actually, I don't super mind this. It's teetering on the edge for sure, but it's not that bad. Because, like, look, AI in art is not inherently bad. AI can be just used as a tool, like in the Into the Spider-Verse franchise. AI was used to assist in the animation process, doing a very menial, not very fun job for the animators. And it certainly didn't take any jobs. Like, look at how many people worked on that thing. It's like over 1,000. Animating one movie, huh? Now, in my opinion, Lemonade.ai is not that innocent. It still uses generative AI, and it doesn't just remove some boring, repetitive tasks from the process of creating music. It instead creates music. And hell, if its job is just to inspire, there are a million billion songs made by real-ass people that don't sound real-ass. Just get inspiration from the hundreds of years of songs that we have already. But as of now, I don't really see any apparent ethical qualms with this specific company creating this specific kind of AI shit. Yeah, it's me again. They use audio waveform generation now too. And that is basically unethical in principle because it's so environmentally shitty. Now, why is that? Well, I'll tell you right now, you little goober, look at that transition. Now, I couldn't find the numbers for how energy-intensive noise diffusion specifically in audio was, but I did find them for image generation, and since it's the same process, I assume it's similar. The reported cost of creating one AI-generated image is approximately the amount of leaving a fridge door open for 30 minutes. And that's with the more energy-efficient models. Now, that doesn't sound like much until you consider the sheer amount of AI-generated images created each day, which is about 34 million. And that little calculation doesn't even include diffusion for audio. That's solely visual noise diffusion. So that's a lot of fridges you're keeping open. And looking into it further, training AI takes about 100 times the amount of energy the average US household uses per year. And it does that in just a couple of weeks. Now, its energy consumption does fall off a cliff after that, at least comparatively, and you only have to train it once. So it's really just one big investment. It's not that bad, right? Unfortunately, every fucking tech company needs its own AI, and every AI needs to be up to date, needs to be the latest and greatest, so new AIs are being created all the time. Just look at the models page on OpenAI's website. Look at how many they've made alone. Just fucking slow down. Looking into the future, this shit doesn't look much better. The IAA estimates that by 2026, the energy necessary to run AI data centers could rival the entire country of Japan. However, these numbers are contested. In a different study done by Cell Press, they estimate that the energy it would take to run AI servers would only be the amount that Sweden uses in a year. So much better, actually. But it is a very sizable difference in the numbers, and I have two running theories for why that could be the case. Option 1, AI data centers and AI servers are two different things, and I just don't know that. Or option 2, these big tech companies are incredibly fucking secretive with how much energy they actually blow through. Now, my first option is merely a possibility, but the second one is factual. Companies like OpenAI don't disclose much, if any, information on how much power they use, and so any numbers we have are based on educated guesses. This could mean that really the power that it takes to run AI is way less than we think. These companies are just hiding the numbers to be playful and silly. Or, more plausibly, it's way more than we think, and these companies are just trying to cover their asses. Long story short, this kind of AI uses a lot of energy and provides very, very little in return. Its whole thing is that it does things that people already really want to do. Isn't a robotic utopia supposed to be that robots do the things that nobody wants to do anyways? But I hear you all, audience. You're saying, Michael, how does this have to do with JPEG Mafia and Metro Boomin? Michael, why are you pretending to be smart? Michael, you look like shit, and well, first of all, hurtful. Second of all, I do have the answer to the first question. The songs they sampled may be probably almost 100% definitely use that audio waveform generation. Even if they got all their songs without stealing, like an AI engine that compensates all of its teachers fairly, it's still way too much energy to make a song that frankly doesn't matter. Like if the AI is being used to identify cancer in people quicker than doctors can, sure thing, boss. If its only job is to make something that a human can make better, then why the fuck does that exist? And even if Peggy and Metro created something better with it, created genuine art with it, it's still putting more AI art into the mainstream, which is a wholly negative thing. Even if it's art and quality art, it's still sourced from a dirty and bad and kind of gross place. You could say it's not that big of a deal, they only used a couple songs, what's that really gonna do in the grand scheme of things? But the normalization of AI art is still bad no matter how much good shit we can make from it. Here, the ends don't justify the means, and so back to my earlier question, is there a way to use generative AI in art ethically? I don't really think so. Not now, at least. Hi, so I recorded an end bit for this video, but I'm gonna do it again because I don't think it encapsulated all the conclusive thoughts I wanted it to. I didn't go as off the rails for this video as I could have. I wanted to practice making something shorter. Hi, Georgia. There's a cat here. I'll show you her in a minute. Maybe I'll show her right now. On screen right now, cat I'm taking care of because this isn't my house. But on my way, I kind of wanted to go into more things and didn't choose to. Like, even just in the Drake and Kendrick beef, which was just like a framing device for the video, I kind of wanted to go into like how a lot of the genuine points against Drake at the time were being like they were being overridden by just like blatant homophobia, which was weird. How both Drake and Kendrick used women for like cool points, I guess, against the other. Still a sick beef. Loved it. Just there are a lot of underlying things there that I kind of wanted to talk about, but it doesn't fit in this video and other people have already talked about it, so like whatever. Then there's a concept of like everything's environmentally bad, so why criticize this harmless thing for being bad when there's other things you could talk about? That point's easy to dispute. It's just like, well, why add one more thing, you know? See, I'm already getting fucking off the rails. I didn't want this conclusion to be that long. Last point I wanted to touch on was like there's no ethical consumption under capitalism type shit, which is true, but the people who say it are annoying, so fuck, I said it. Now I'm annoying. Fuck. But it's true. It's like, how do you parse what is necessary for you to live your life versus what is unnecessary but important versus what is flavor, and how do you cut things out of your life in a way that doesn't make you want to kill yourself? And like, I don't know if I should be listening to Peggy. Like, he's a vehement Kanye dick rider. But I don't know. If there's anything I want you, the viewer, to come away from this video with, it's just like, be mindful of what you consume. Whether that's like, you know, music or TV or products you buy or whatever. Just like be mindful of where they come from. Try and at least know what you're doing before you do it, you know? I don't know. So yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support on my recent videos. It's been really nice. Subscribe if you made it this far. I doubt most people did, but if you did, that means you like hearing me ramble, which is what this channel's about. Please subscribe and don't miss any future videos or whatever I decide to put out. There's more on the way. There's more on the way. I have a lot of ideas. Gonna be longer than this one. I'm gonna be so honest. This one was what if I made a small video and then it still took a month to make because I'm slow and lazy. I don't know, so it'll be a while. But thanks genuinely for watching, and I'll see you around. Bye. Bye-bye.